Let's have a look at business now on the programme. Stephen is joining us here on set, our business editor, of course. Stephen, you're starting in Argentina, aren't you? Some progress on the talks with the IMF there.
That's right. The International Monetary Fund says it's down to close to the finish line in talks with Argentina over renegotiating the country's bailout. The government had agreed a $50 billion credit line with the IMF earlier this year. Now, this news coming as the key player in those negotiations, or one of the key players in those negotiations, the head of Argentina's central bank, has resigned. He'd only been in the job for 3 months, at a time when the peso was collapsing in value. Brian Quinn has the more.
After just 3 months on the job, Argentina's central bank chief Luis Caputo is stepping down, officially due to personal reasons. Argentine media, however, reporting disputes with the International Monetary Fund over economic policies. His departure comes as President Mauricio Macri's government grapples with deepening economic turmoil and mounting social unrest. The Argentine economy contracted by over 4% in the second quarter of this year. Inflation currently stands at 34%. Central bank interest rates are at 60%, the highest in the world, with the peso having lost half its value against the dollar in 2018. In June, the government secured a 3-year, $50 billion bailout from the IMF to stave off a looming currency crisis. Last month, Macri asked the IMF to speed up access to that credit line and possibly boost the amount. With Macri in New York for the UN General Assembly, IMF chief Christine Lagarde tweeted that the two sides were close to the finish line on a revised agreement. But with an IMF bailout comes an austerity budget plan designed to bring Argentina's deficit to zero, amid growing domestic backlash. Tuesday saw a nationwide general strike that grounded flights and paralyzed public transport, with banks and schools shut down and thousands of demonstrators in the streets. Many protesters blame the IMF for previous economic woes, including the country's 2001 economic crisis that plunged millions into poverty.
India is said to be winding down oil imports from Iran as soon as next month, ahead of the reimposition of US sanctions. Oil company officials telling Bloomberg that they haven't ordered any Iranian cargo for November. That follows similar moves from Japan and South Korea. Now, industry experts are saying that Iranian oil exports could drop below 1 million barrels per day in November. That's less than half of the levels that were reached earlier this year. Now, that reduction in Iranian supply is one of the reasons that we've seen oil prices pushing higher in recent days. Brent crude, the international benchmark for oil prices, still trading near a 4-year high. WTI also rising sharply over the past couple of days. Both of the indexes down a little bit today in trading, but still maintaining those recent highs. On the stock markets, investors very much fixed on the US Federal Reserve, which is widely expected to raise interest rates later. We'll be looking out to see whether or not America's central bank will change its policy on future rate rises, perhaps doing so more quickly, given that the US economy is doing well. That's a big issue for investors globally. European shares opening pretty flat ahead of that decision. This is the picture on the Asian markets, where we've seen gains across the board in trading. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong up by over 1%. Investors there, really their trade fears being reduced as time goes on, which is helping to boost shares there. This is the picture at the open in Europe. So London's FTSE 100 just nudging into the red, and Paris and Frankfurt nudging in the other direction. On the currency markets, the dollar a little stronger against the euro in trading. €1 trading for around $1.17.5 and 89 pence sterling. Next, the boss of Nike says a controversial ad campaign featuring former NFL player Colin Kaepernick sparked record engagement from customers and has helped to boost sales. Kaepernick is known for refusing to stand during the national anthem in protest against police brutality and racism. Nike CEO Mike Parker says the ad resonated with consumers and that he's proud of the campaign. Sportswear brand reporting a 10% jump in revenue in the 3 months to the end of August. Shares in a Chinese hot pot restaurant group are steaming ahead on their first day of trading. Hadilao is China's most popular hot pot chain, thanks for its perks for diners like manicures while you wait or photo printing machines. It's raised more than $900 million from its first day on the stock market. And finally for me, a slightly unusual rebrand from a well-known chain. Dunkin' Donuts is dropping the donuts from its name from next year. Now, they're still going to sell donuts, confusingly, but the change reflects the fact that drinks actually account for 60% of their business. Now, the company says that it's on a first-name basis with its customers and that it's a nod to its long-time slogan, America runs on Dunkin'. It is the latest in a series of slimmed-down rebrandings we've seen recently. Earlier this week, Weight Watchers announced that it was becoming WW as it focuses more on wellness rather than weight watching.
It's very confusing, isn't it? What are they going to do? Rename in another few years? Just done?
Just done, yeah.
Or
kin.
D. Or kin. Why not? Thanks a lot, Stephen. Stephen with business. On France 24, let's